My name is Camila Elaine Reed, and the day I graduated with my Master's degree was supposed to be the day I finally felt visible. The stadium shimmered in that soft May sunlight, the kind that makes the world look gentler than it actually is. Navy gowns swished like waves, families shouted names over the loudspeakers, and air horns pierced through the crowd in messy bursts of pride. Everywhere I looked, someone was crying, hugging, laughing, being loved. When they called my name, Camila Elaine Reed, Master of Data Analytics, the applause rose like thunder. But none of it was for me. Instinctively, my eyes flew to the rows in front labeled reserved for family, empty. The metal seats reflected the sun back at me, bright and cold. Not one familiar face. Not even a shadow. I forced a smile for the photo anyway, the kind of smile you rehearse for years because you know no one else is going to cheer for you. My cheeks burned from pretending everything was okay. Around me, students melted into their families like puzzle pieces finding their place. Moms held flowers. Dads wiped tears. Younger siblings waved phones in the air, trying to catch every second. I just stood there, this floating island in the middle of someone else's celebration. After the ceremony, I lingered near the courtyard pretending to scroll my phone. Ruby, my friend from class, ran up and squealed, "You did it!" Her parents snapped photos of us, their joy warm and effortless. When she turned and asked, "Where's your family? Running late?" I lied so easily it scared me. Yeah, something like that. By the time I reached my car, the sky had turned gold. Balloons bobbed above car roofs, people honked in celebration, and somewhere in the distance, a toddler was screaming with joy. I sat in my old Civic, both hands on the wheel, watching families load into cars together. For a moment, I imagined mine walking toward me, mom waving. Avery skipping beside her in glitter sneakers, dad holding flowers. But imagination is soft. Reality always comes back hard. And the reality was, they never showed up for me. Not then, not years ago, not ever. I should have been numb. I'd lived this pattern my whole life. While other kids learned to ride bikes, I learned to navigate my mother's demands money for Avery's piano lessons, for Avery's field trips, for Avery's anything. And whenever I hesitated, she always said the same thing. Family helps family, Camila. You're our pride, but pride shouldn't feel like a bill. I worked 2 jobs through high school. I poured coffee at dawn for strangers whose names I memorized, even though my mom never remembered mine unless she needed something. When I got accepted into grad school, I thought maybe, just maybe, it would finally be enough to earn her love. Turns out with some parents, the finish line keeps moving. 3 days after graduation, when my gown was still hanging by the door and my diploma sat proudly on the table, that text came. No, congratulations. No, we're proud of you. Not even an "I'm sorry we missed it." Just, need $200 for your sister's sweet 16. No question mark, just expectation. I stared at the screen so long my phone dimmed. That was the moment something inside me, something small and tired and ignored for years, finally stood up. I opened my banking app. $3,000 in savings. Almost all of it earned through nights I cried myself to sleep from exhaustion, telling myself it would all mean something. I sent her $1. Typed, "Congrats." Hit send. Then I opened the drawer by the front door, pulled out the spare key my mother insisted on keeping for emergencies, and dropped it into the trash. That night I called a locksmith. He replaced the lock with a soft clink that sounded more like healing than hardware. The next morning, I brewed coffee and basked in the silence of my own apartment. For the first time, silence didn't feel like loneliness. It felt like mine. Then came the knocking. Firm, heavy, official. When I looked through the peephole, 2 Denver police officers stood there. My stomach dropped. "Miss Reed," the taller one said, "your mother called. She says you've been acting erratically. Changing locks, not answering. She's worried you might harm yourself." I laughed, this bitter, broken sound, because it was just so absurd. My mother didn't worry about my life. She worried about losing access to it. I let them in. They looked around my clean apartment, my laptop open with job applications, my diploma framed on the wall. "Do I look unstable to you?" I asked. The officer almost smiled. "Not even close." They asked a few questions, wrote a report clearing me, and told me gently, Sometimes when people start setting boundaries, others panic. When they left, I slid down the door and shook not from fear, but from fury. If she was willing to weaponize the police against me, what else would she do? I got my answer the next morning. 2 credit inquiries. Capital 1. Discover. Not mine. My credit report loaded, and my chest went cold. 2 new accounts. Open. Active. Thousands spent. The address listed? My parents' house in Littleton. The transactions? Cherry Creek Events. Denver DJ Agency. Glam Studio. Everything for Avery's Sweet 16. Paid for with my name. My mother didn't just use me. She became me. I called the bank. The representative confirmed it. Co-applicant Linda M. Reed. The world went still. When the call ended, I sat there shaking, then opened my voice recorder. Colorado was a one-party consent state. Good. I dialed my mother. She answered, annoyed. So you're alive? Mom? I said, calm but trembling. There are credit cards under my name linked to your address. Want to explain? She actually laughed. Oh, that. I was helping you build credit. You should be grateful. We needed it for Avery's party. It's family money. What's yours is ours. No, I said softly. What's mine is mine. And what you did is being investigated. The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut air. You wouldn't dare, she whispered. I already did. I hung up. Saved the recording. Titled it, Boundaries. May 17, 2025. I met them at a diner the next day, neutral ground. My mother in sunglasses like a celebrity, my father looking small, and Avery scrolling on her phone. I placed a folder on the table. 2 credit cards opened under my name, I said. Both used for Avery's Sweet 16, Mom waved dismissively. I did it for you. You're ungrateful. The world knows who paid for your education. I laughed, loud enough that half the diner stared. You mean me? I paid for it. Every shift. Every loan. While you used my college fund for Avery's prom dress, Avery groaned. Here we go again. I looked at her. The silver dress you wore? You danced in it using a card that's currently under fraud investigation, Mom hissed. Enough. You don't talk to your sister like that. Then my father, quiet as always, tried. Let's fix this privately. There is no privately, I said. The bank knows. The investigation is open. Mom's face drained. You'll regret this. No, I said, standing. I regret not doing it sooner. That night, as Avery's Sweet 16 glittered across Cherry Creek in purple lights, my phone rang. Miss Reed, a woman said professionally, this is Capital One. Law enforcement is at the venue verifying fraud. I didn't go. I didn't need to. 40 minutes later, Avery texted, Are you insane? Police are here, DJ stopped. Mom is losing IT. They said, your name. What did you do? I didn't answer. Across town, the officers calmly documented everything as guests whispered. Cameras flashed. My mother stood frozen, sweat shining under the lights. Avery cried. The music died. It wasn't revenge, it was truth. 3 days later, Capital One emailed me. Fraud confirmed. Primary applicant, Linda M. Reed. She will repay the full amount. Just like that, all her lies collapsed in the span of a sentence. I pinned the confirmation letter beside my diploma and the receipt from the locksmith. 3 pieces of proof. I worked for myself. I protected myself. And I freed myself. 6 months later, Denver was golden with autumn and I had a new job at Nova Data Labs, surrounded by people who valued my work, not my wallet. On my wall hung the things that told my story, my diploma, my employee badge, and the old lock I once changed. If you've ever had to build a boundary just to breathe again, you're not alone. And somewhere out there, someone else finally changed the locks too.